Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. My name is Courtney if you don't know me already, and this is the first video back after what, a week or two. I just wanted to have a little bit of a refresher, a little bit of a break, but I'm so excited to be back, especially with this video because a lot of people told me to watch this one. Go check out my other videos on the SR-71, super interesting stuff. I think there's a lot of fans of this plane for good reason. But we're checking out this story today. It's called The Buzzing the Tower story. You probably never heard before. So let me know if you have heard of it or not below. We're going to get into it. It's only 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So let's do it.
The question is, did you ever fly over commercial airports? That was the question from my wife. Yes. I think it was the 1982 or 83 Toronto Air Show. I was a participant, and we took an SR-71 there, and it was 3 crew members went. One crew flew it in, one crew flew the second day air show, and the third crew, which was myself, flew just a couple of flybys at the third day of the air show, and then actually flew the aircraft back to Beale Air Force Base. And the Toronto Air Show is over the, what is it, Labor Day weekend? Is it the Labor Day weekend in September? What's the first? It's Monday. Yeah, that's when they always have it. And and it's a holiday weekend. So when I came back into the Sacramento area, and I was descending down to land at Beale, and we had a lot of fuel, and we had to work on the holiday. And I said, I asked the backseater, I said, you want to make an approach at Sac Metro? And he said, can we do that? And I said, why not?
You can do anything once.
Yeah, exactly.
With the SR-71, you can do anything.
So I, on approach control, when we got over to approach control, I asked if Sac Metro was available for an approach, and they said they switched us over to Sac Metro, and they cleared us for an approach. So as we were coming down final, and we had configured the airplane with the gear down, and we're about 2 miles out on final, I asked the controller, they switched us over to tower, and I asked the tower, I said, would you like a flyby down the runway or down the ramp? And the guy said, down the ramp. And I said, okay. I sucked the gear up and I pushed the power up, and we started heading towards the ramp, towards the tower. And as we were approaching it, I rolled the plane up away from the tower and lit the afterburners. And we went around and made a pass, and the tower controller said, beautiful, beautiful, come back and do another one. And I said, I better not, I'm going to go to Beale. So we went back to Beale and we landed, and as I mentioned, holiday weekend, and Colonel Lonnie Liss was he was the DO. He was the director of flight operations, the DO. Sorry?
Straight Lonnie.
Straight Lonnie, yeah. Anyhow, so he met us when we pulled in the hangar after we landed. As I mentioned, that was the normal procedure. And I thought, well, that's nice that he came out. As I came down the ladder from the aircraft, he looked at me and he said, Maury, and I said, yes, sir. He said, do we have any regulations that say we can't make approaches at Sacramento Airport? I said, no, sir. I want one on my desk at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Now, there's a continuation to this story. I retired in '87 and flew with United Airlines. When I had previously flown for United. I had a break in service. When I went back to United, I was a 760 co-pilot, Boeing 767 co-pilot. And one of my, that first year in '87, I think it was either the fall of '87 or the winter of '88, right after the new year, I was flying a 767 from Washington, D.C. to San Francisco. And an air traffic controller wanted to know if they could ride in the cockpit. And the captain of the plane signed it off. They have that privilege, or if they want to do that. And the aircraft, normally when they do that, if there's an empty seat somewhere, the captain will ask one of the flight attendants to stick him in an empty seat in the back of the plane. The plane was full. So this young lady was the air traffic controller. She came in. She's quite an attractive young lady. And the captain I was flying with was, I don't know if he was married or not, but I know he was a big flirt. I hadn't flown with him before. So I was flying, it was my leg from DC to San Francisco. You would trade off flying legs in the airlines. And we're flying, and he's just talking to her halfway across the country. And at some point, he asked her how long she'd worked at San Francisco Airport, and she hadn't been there that long. She said, I used to work SAC Metro. So this is, I think it was 1988. And I looked over my shoulder at this young lady, and I said, were you working SAC Metro in 1982 or whatever it was, 82 or 83? And she looked at me, and she said, yeah, I was. Why do you ask? And I said, were you working tower when the SR-71 buzzed it? And she said, oh, yeah, I was. How did you know that? And I told her it was me, and she started laughing, and she said, you scared the hell out of people. She said there were people in the terminal that dived to the ground. They thought the airplane was going to hit the terminal.
Oh my God.
Good job.
Oh, that's wonderful. I was wondering how that second part linked up, and then when they were talking about, oh, she was the air traffic controller at that airport, I was like, oh, no way. No way. What a funny story. Isn't it a small world sometimes? I want one on my desk at 7 a.m. tomorrow. ... lol. So great to hear all kinds of stories like that. It's so funny. That's so funny. Like, there's literally no rule against it. That's so funny. Oh gosh, I just can't believe they both came to the same aircraft all those years later. And the fact that he could hear the story from the other side and talking about all of the you know, the customers or the people at the airport thought that, you know, this place was going to be driven into by a plane. Like, it's just hilarious. Thank you so much to everyone who sent this one through. I love listening to stories like this. It's just so funny, right? It's so funny, and also interesting at the same time. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate you being here. I'm so glad to be back after a little bit of a break, week and a half, 2 weeks-ish. So happy to be back. I will see you guys in a couple of days with a new video. So if you haven't already, definitely feel free to subscribe down below and check out my other videos. I've got a ton of videos on my channel, so I'm sure you'll find something you like on there. But apart from that, bye guys.